Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey Jason, John Pauline, little one-on-one action, bringing it back to you. John, it's that time of year. We're in July. Time for the Midsummer Classic to come up, All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, all those festivities. But did you see that they kind of changed the rules for the Home Run Derby?
I actually didn't. You were telling me before, and I had no idea what the changes were.
So you know what the rules last year and the past couple of years were, right?
I think the timer, right? And you just throw as
So
many as you. Yeah.
the new rules, there's no knockout style play until round two. So that means instead of the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, 2 versus 7, 3, 6, 4, 5,
Mm.
there's going to be no seeds in round one, just 8 players, even playing field, all going against each other. The top 4 home run hitters will move on to round two. Now, that's still going to have the time limit of 3 minutes, but the caveat now is it's 3 minutes or 40 pitches. So you only get 40 pitches. Whichever comes first ends the round. Now, this doesn't include bonus time. That is separate.
So
So let me hear your thoughts on that change.
I like the even playing field in round one. I think that's just better for it because I feel like why would it makes sense. It makes more sense to take the top 4 home run hitters that
Yeah,
round and to seed them. Like it makes sense. Like it makes more sense for it. I don't know if I like the 40 pitches thing. I feel like it should just be you know as many as you get there, but I mean, I guess if because they can pick. I mean, I guess if the pitch, pace is a little low. I don't know how I feel about it, but I like them not having to knock out rounds in the first round and having them just take the top 4. Like, I think that's gonna make for a better, more competitive home run derby and probably a
right.
more exciting one. I feel like.
I don't know how I feel about the 40 pitches either. I feel like that's too minimal,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I don't know. The home run derby I like is the 10 outs,
yeah,
top ones move on. That's the style of play. I liked it. But round 1 and 2 will have that 3 minute limit timer plus the 40 pitches. The final round will be 2 minutes or 27 pitches.
why are they long, like
So it's still 2 minutes was the same
yeah,
final round between last year and
but
this year. That didn't
27
change.
pitches?
27 maximum pitches.
I don't know. Why are the pit it just like why not keep it like why such a drop off of pitches? You go from like 40 to 27.
Yeah,
I,
I guess they're saying that you can average 13 pitches in a minute, just about.
they want all these home run derby pitchers to get Tommy John surgery. They want them to have that fast pitch pace. I I
I don't know.
I just go back to the 10 out format, honestly.
I'm sure they figured, they saw how many pitches batters were seeing in the limit, and it was probably around these numbers, give or take.
But then why make it a rule though? Like I just don't understand like what's the limit do? Is it to say, oh, because you don't want the home run derby going on too long? Like, you don't want you don't want people.
Late nights in the summer watching it as a kid, seeing it go
Yeah,
on so late was awesome.
it's you got some of the best moments from that. I mean, some iconic moments.
We'll talk about that in a little bit because I want to talk some bonus round now. Now, the bonus rounds don't have a timer. It's going to be 3 outs. You have as much time, as many pitches as you want to hit as many home runs as you can before recording 3 outs.
I like that.
Now, obviously, outs are any non-home run. Doesn't have to be caught by any of those Make-A-Wish kids out there or whatever they are. Always wanted to be one of those kids out there during a home run derby,
That'd be cool.
running around, taking a fly ball off the noggin because it's hit so hard I can't catch it.
I mean, even just to go and watch the home run derby in the stands as like a fan, I think would be
One
fantastic.
day, one day it'll be back at Yankee Stadium.
But I like the out format better than a timed format. I just think it
Me too.
it just makes it better. The batters don't feel rushed. The pitcher who's pitching, for the batter doesn't feel rushed. Like I don't know what it is with MLB and a lot of sports. He's like every sport, it's wanting to speed stuff up. I don't get it.
Advertisers, I guess. I don't
I,
know.
I don't
Some
know.
focus group is telling them bad information. But sticking with that bonus round, if a player hits a 425-foot home run in that bonus round, they'll be awarded with a fourth out.
That's an interesting twist. I can get behind that. I can get behind that.
Now, I'm not positive if they get an extra out for every
Is it or yeah,
425 plus or if it's only one.
or is it
I couldn't.
capped at
Right, at 4 outs.
like at 4 outs, or you can get like an extra out, like you can only get if you can only hit like so many over 425, and after like so many, it stops adding
Right,
outs.
now I didn't see that information when I looked into it. So that's something I kinda wanna look out for because somebody could just start hitting nukes and just pretty much get unlimited outs.
And there are players that definitely can do that. Like
Yes.
just
One player that I don't believe can is the only player in the field committed right now. That's Gunnar Henderson. Great player, good pop. I don't believe he's got the ability to constantly hit 425-foot plus home runs in the Derby, especially since it's his first time around.
mhm.
But since he's the only one committed, who's a couple other players that you would love to see in the Derby that haven't already said no? And Judge is the only one to my mind that has already said absolutely not.
That makes sense for Judge though. That makes sense. Um, I'm gonna go out on here is someone Ellie De La Cruz, just because he has some power and he hits
Yeah,
them far. I mean, I feel like if you're looking for like like a newcomer, I feel like he'd be a guy. I
Ellie's a good one.
think he'd be a guy. I mean, you go with the obvious ones. I mean, if you don't know if they're gonna be back or not, but Schwarber
Schwarber.
because he hits moonshots, but I don't
He's
know.
struggled when he's done the Derby, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a Philly fan if I want to, but it's fun to see, but you're talking about, you want to,
Marcelo Zuna is another one I would like to see there,
he's good. He got that power.
or
Um,
Rafael Devers,
Devers
Jordan
definitely.
Alvarez, Kyle Tucker.
What about J Rod Julio Rodriguez?
I feel like he's just got too much going on right now with his
No, just
struggles. But thinking other names that could be pretty fun to see. Names that you really wouldn't think of, like a Jaron Duran, who I think should absolutely be an all-star on the Red Sox, who's got sneaky pop, who could really, control the field, or
what about Brent Rooker from the Athletics.
Brent Rooker's got really good
He's got
power.
he's starting to come into it this year.
Christian Walker,
I
just
mean,
as
you
a
can go
bunch.
with the class, say Matt Olson.
Matt
I mean,
Olson,
there's so many power hitters in MLB now. I mean,
Cody Bellinger.
so many Bellinger. Um, like there's like I feel like there's so many, like it's hard to come up with a name sometimes. There's just so many to pull from.
Adam Dunn should just come out of retirement and do the Derby.
Honestly, they should do like a Legends Derby kind of.
They kind of do that, but it's like a traveling thing. They don't really broadcast it well,
I,
or kind of.
I think it should be just like a little mini one. You do like a four player Legend Derby.
Yeah, only players that retired in the last 10 years, 15 years could do it.
I think that would be fun, like a little fun thing to do for the All Star, for the All Star weekend there.
Yeah,
Just add it on to it. And
but what's your favorite home run derby memory?
I forget the year, but it was when Josh Hamilton.
Stealing my information here.
Yes, I stayed up late with my.
2008 Yankee Stadium, final season of the old Yankee Stadium.
I mean, I remember staying up late watching it, like and stuff with my dad, and it was like I think it was like a school night or something. I had to be up.
We will never capture that feeling of watching that home run derby again. I was 10 years old, sitting in my living room watching that home run derby before I had baseball camp the next day.
I mean, I remember staying like my dad, like, I remember we would turn the lights off to go upstairs, and like it was dark, and he had the TV on, and we stayed down until he finished because it was just he just kept hitting them and hitting them and hitting them
in them,
and hitting them,
and
and
he
then
didn't
to
even
add to
win. He
no,
didn't
he
even
did,
win.
and it's crazy, but it's like he won. He won in my heart.
Yeah.
That's what matters. He won in everyone's heart.
Do
I
you
mean,
remember
because
who
it's
actually won?
I don't, because that's the thing. Like he stole the show.
Justin Morneau.
Don't
He won
even
the
I
Derby, and then he won the All-Star game on a sac fly.
don't remember him, but I remember Josh Hamilton. That just shows you how good of a like, just how fantastic he was doing. Like, not to mention his story, because he had like a little comeback story that year from his struggles with I think with drugs and addiction and all that, and then he came back and he
Which
just
sadly he was never able to really overcome.
no, but I mean, for that one year, he had that redemption moment that a lot of people are just not he never gonna forget. Like he submitted himself there in history.
Yeah, if I had to pick a separate moment for me, it's tough. I mean, watching Vladimir Guerrero or Robinson Cano, Aaron Judge winning it his rookie year, but I liked my favorite memory outside of Hamilton, or one of my favorite memories, I should say, was I believe 2018. Bryce Harper of the Nationals won the home run derby. I am on my first vacation, kind of without my family. I'm with a bunch of friends. We went to Disney. We're in a pool. I'm watching it from the pool because my other friends, they didn't care. So I'm lounging in the pool watching the Derby. Harper's dad throwing it to Harper, and Harper just winning the Derby. I thought that was so much fun.
I mean, see, I think the only, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I haven't watched too many like the derbies or the alls. I turn it on here and there. I'm just not a big. I don't watch a lot of stuff on TV. I mean, even like Phillies games, I only catch like sometimes the last like 3 or 4 innings. So
Do we want to see Pete Alonso win it again?
Ben probably does.
Ben definitely
Ben
does.
does. I don't know. I don't know if I want to,
Polar Bear Pete, home run
but
derby
I
king.
mean, it's just like like, but as you watch sports, I mean, throughout the life, I mean, you pick up these memories and stuff, and just, I mean, it's fantastic.
I mean, even going to the All-Star game, Prince Fielder's inside the park home run.
I remember recently watching the thing where Wheeler just like struck out. He like was striking out. He was like pitching recently. He like threw 100 miles per hour and like struck a guy out, and it was just crazy. Because I didn't think he can get that high up with his fastball. What he did. I mean, I feel like, is it me or does baseball have the best All Star weekend out of all the sports now? Like they had the
It
best All
is
Star game and just like out of all the sports.
baseball All-Star weekend, I feel, is just so much fun.
I just feel like you get a better All Star game than football. I feel like you get a better All Star game than basketball. Like I just feel like it's just a better overall experience for the fans watching
Yeah.
because it's like it feels like an actual game.
I'm kind of trying to figure out, was I wrong about Prince Fielder hitting it inside the park home run in the All-Star game?
I don't remember.
Because I remember there was one All-Star game where he was just running. He didn't hit an inside the parker, but he won the All-Star game MVP.
Mm,
And I might have been confusing that with the one he had while he was with Milwaukee, because that was, I believe, the same season.
I can see. Okay.
But Prince Fielder with that game, Carl Crawford robbing a home run, uh, Derek Jeter's final All-Star game, just really incredible moments that the other sports like football doesn't really have an All-Star weekend that anybody cares about because it's easy to get hurt playing football.
Yeah,
I can't speak for hockey because that's Ben's deal, and
that's Ben's deal, but I'm sure
I
they have a
don't care
better
enough.
one than football.
NBA, I mean, you have the slam dunk contest, but everything else seems to be kind of a joke.
And I feel like
You
the
have
slam dunk contest fell
Matt
off.
McClung, winning the dunk contest, and he's not even in the league. Like he's a G League player. It's
Oh,
kind
I
of
just feel like
embarrassing.
it just like the dunk contest fell off. I think because like the memorable most best dunk contest is when they had Dwight Howard with the
Yeah,
Superman cape and the
uh,
shirt and
that's like if I don't
I
know.
mean, that was like
Chris
peak.
Carter came from the Nippon League and won the home run derby a couple years ago. Like, it just
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think baseball is just it's good. Like you actually they actually play a baseball game.
now I'll keep in mind to ask Ben and Dylan when they're on before the All Star Game week what their favorite memories are because I'm curious with them. Uh, Obviously, the Mets hosted one at Citi Field. I believe Matt Harvey started that All Star game 2013. That was a really fun one. But I kind of want to go into our studs and duds because there's a couple guys that could be All Star players, right? One of my dud is actually somebody who I thought was going to be an All Star, then decided to take a fall off a cliff. But we'll save that for a second because my stud is Hunter Brown, Astros starting pitcher. He went 2-0 in his 2 games started, 12 innings pitched, no earned runs, no runs given up, 4 hits, 6 walks, 12 strikeouts. Just a really, really good outing
So he's
by the
making a like he's
Astros young
having
men.
a little comeback here because I think he had a decent start and then he just kind of
Yeah,
like fell off
he-
bad. So
yeah. But then somebody who fell off even worse, Yankee shortstop Anthony Volpe, somebody who I thought was going to be an all star. Now I can't even see it. Over the last week, in the 6 games that he's played, 29 at bats, he has 4 hits, struck out 12 times, more than any other player in baseball over the last week. He's hitting 138 with a 138 on base percentage, not a single walk. I believe he's only walked like maybe once in the last like 3, 4 weeks.
how many strikeouts? Did you
12
say 12
strikeouts,
strikeouts?
leads the most in that span.
So he's not even
And,
like getting bad on the ball there.
right. And he's got a 276 OPS. So even when he is getting the bat and the ball, it's basically just singles. Rough, rough outing for
Singles in
the young
himself
man
aren't
who
that
got the
bad, but it's like he fell off. You're talking about him. We were talking about him in the same like breath as maybe being like a MVP up there with like he's up, on with Gunnar Henderson and Bywood Jr. and now he just like fell off. And I really liked Volpe. I liked Volpe. I want him to do good.
But who's your stud and dud?
Okay, well, I kind of got almost two studs. One is kind of an honorable mention. I'm gonna go with my real stud, like my actual stud of the week here, Ellie De La Cruz. He had, I think, 12 hits this last week. 12 hits, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 2 walks. Like he's been kind of quiet all season, but he's been really kicking it up a notch now. And you just kind of hope that when the All-Star break happens, it doesn't take him out of the zone here, and he can keep it up. And my honorable mention, someone who we talked about last week, Ben didn't think was that good, Jerkison Profar, 6 hits, 1 home run, 7 RBIs, 2 walks, and he had that home run was a grand slam, and he also had a walk off against the Nationals too. So I mean, uh, you know, and he was, I guess, he got then he not to mention he also got the Nationals so mad on that walk. But you said they got mad for him celebrating that he walked off after they intentionally walked the guy in front of him to pitch to him, threw a
Yeah,
fastball, almost hit him in the face. Then he walked off, celebrated at home in San Diego, and the Nationals got mad about him and celebrating. So he gets in their heads. And
that's great.
now my dad, someone who was a stud for me originally, like earlier in the year, Willie Adames. He only had 1 hit, some 3 walks, but it's like, you know, the Brewers need him to start hitting again, like if they want to stay in first place here. Because like the NL Central is super, super competitive. So they can't, your good players have to play good. So can't be having weeks like this.
Yeah, it's tough, but let's talk a little All Star game. We kind of brought it in with the home run derby. Now we're into phase 2 of the voting. John, do you know who the 2 locks to start the All Star game are? The 2 top vote getters in the league for the American and National?
Uh I feel like I want to say I thought I saw Harper and Judge say they're locked in.
Harper and Judge are locked in.
which is no surprise. I
Well,
feel
not for
like
Judge. Harper, I was surprised about.
I thought Boehm was going to take it.
I thought Bone was going to take it too. Harper, deserving player. I'm not upset about either of these. Kind of shocked that it wasn't Otani, just because everybody seems to just love Otani.
You know, yeah, but I think a lot of people don't like the Dodgers.
Yeah, but you also have the international aspect to it that kind of
True.
balances that out.
Yeah, and the fact that the Phillies are just having a fantastic year and Harper's having a great year, so like, that steals some votes, when you're on one of the best teams in the
Yeah,
league.
for sure. And you got your name brand player.
Yeah. But it
That's why
is
somebody like Jerks and Profar struggling. He could have been very easily a guy that should have been, guaranteed to start because he's having an amazing year, but the Padres not good, not a
yeah.
name brand player, never been an all-star.
Uh,
But this is where we stand. Now that you have two locked at each position, minus the outfield, it's kind of a head-to-head percentage battle now. So I'm going to start it off with the American League.
mhm.
You have Vladdy versus Mountcastle. Vladdy's leading 57% to 43%.
Honestly, he's probably gonna win. I mean,
It's a close battle, though.
it's close, but he's probably gonna take it. I mean, I think he has more name recognition than Mountcastle.
Absolutely, but those O's fans are really, really getting their guys into the thick of
So
it.
I mean, it's gonna be close, but I think that name recognition, like, the All-Star when it comes down to it, I mean, you can talk about stats all you want, but it comes down to it's a popularity thing. It's a name recognition thing.
Yes,
I mean, you also have to be good, but it comes down to name recognition, and I feel like more people know who Vladdy is than Mountcastle.
absolutely. Next up, kind of a similar thing. Second base, Jose Altuve at 56% over Marcus Simeon 44%.
This is a close one, and you got two Texas, two guys from Texas
You
teams
guys
here.
from the Lone Star State, you're right.
You got a guy from the, defending World Series champions. You got a guy, from the Trastros, I mean Astros. Um, so I mean Altuve's good. And most likely, yeah, and the Astros are a very, very popular team, and I think have more fans than the Rangers. And he's probably gonna get it. And I think he has better stats than Simeon too. Like I think he has at least I think he has a
Yeah,
higher batting average. So it's like I mean Altuve's probably gonna get it, and I honestly I don't have a problem with that, and that wouldn't surprise me.
next up is shortstop Gunnar Henderson at 67% over Bobby Witt's 33%. Little surprising right there that it's not closer.
I I think Gunnar Henderson's just he's just having a year. Like I mean, Bobby Witt is doing so good. It stinks because they're both so good. They're both so good, and I mean, you're
Yeah.
looking at probably like almost like two, like probably they're probably almost in the top, both in top five shortstop and like all of MLB. I would almost say like right now, like this year, almost
Oh, yeah.
like you can argue like they're probably both in top five for all of baseball. You can make an argument for both of them. I mean, I like Bobby Jr. and stuff, and I like Gunnar Henderson. I mean, he was my guy last year with the Orioles. I picked him to win Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's just tough when you have two good players, like two good young players going against it. It just happens to be. I guess think the Orioles are just on a more popular team and stuff, and Gunnar Henderson's having a great year, and just happens to be Bobby Witt's on the Royals.
Yeah.
That's
The
probably
Royals.
why it's not closer.
Then again, the Royals did kind of do the All-Star game dirty a couple years ago, getting their whole infield in. Like Alcides Escobar and Eric Hosmer should not have been All-Stars.
Yeah.
Whit Merrifield. But next up, third base, J Ram at 59% versus Jordan Westberg at 41%. I mean, that should be J Ram. Westberg isn't
Yeah.
close to J Ram. Catcher, Adley Rutschman, 72% versus Salvador Perez, 28%. Another just no brainer.
That's no brainer.
Designated hitter Yordan Alvarez 51% versus Ryan O'Hearn 49%. That's the closest race
That's
we've seen so
close,
far.
man. That's
It should be
close.
Yordan, but
Yeah.
O'Hearn's really picked it up.
I mean, that's gonna be close. I feel it's like it come down to the to wire there, but Alvarez should, squeak by there.
Now for the outfield, since Judge is a starter, there's only 2 spots remaining for 4 players. Juan Soto at 29%, Stephen Kwan 28%, Anthony Santander at 26%, and Kyle Tucker at 16%. Tucker's kind of fallen off, but Soto and Kwan I think should be the 2, but the Orioles fans are really pushing Santander.
Uh I mean, but it comes down to it. Soto and Kwan. I mean, it has to be. Well, at least Soto should be a lock.
Kwan right now is the only one standing in front of Judge and being a triple crown guy.
Yeah.
Even
So
though
and
Kwan
Kwan,
isn't a qualified hitter, Judge, for all qualified hitters, Judge is right now all triple crown stats. Leads the American League in batting average, home runs, and RBIs.
Kwan's gonna get there though.
Kwan still needs some work, though. He's about
But
40 at bats behind for each game played. So he
eh,
needs to kind of stay healthy and play
if he
another
stays
couple weeks.
healthy, he'll be good. But did you know that they told him to swing and strike out more because he was making too much contact?
Huh.
The guy, the Kwan, they told him that he needs to swing more because his contact skills were so good. It was leading a lot of. I saw a thing. It was like leading to a lot of weak contact, and they just told him to swing more, strike out more. And I,
That's funny.
it's funny, but they told him to swing more. So
That's
it's funny.
ridiculous.
I feel like
That's
he came out of
ridiculous.
nowhere, kind of like you just like
Last year, the year
yeah.
before, it's very funny, but Stephen Kwan, the American, is a very good player. But National League time, obviously, first base already locked up with Bryce Harper.
Mhm.
Second base, though, Ketel Marte at 55% versus Luis Ariz at 45%.
Luis Ariz should be it. I mean, I don't know why they're pushing more. I mean, Marte is good, but I mean, Ariz, like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe I'm just a little salty because of because he's on the Diamondbacks.
Could be. And they
Maybe,
knocked the Phillies out.
yeah, but
It's all right.
I still like. I think Ariz is better and having the better year.
Next up are 2 guys that, again, I don't believe should be eligible. Trey Turner at 53% versus Mookie Betts at 47%. Mookie Betts is hurt. He's not going to play.
Yeah,
So Trey Turner's going to walk away with it.
it's
But it should be like Ellie De La Cruz because Trey Turner also missed a lot of time.
he missed a lot of time, but when he did come back, he put up the numbers that he's putting up before he left.
I
So
know,
there
but
is
still,
that. I mean, I get the argument that he didn't play, he missed a lot of games, but and that's fair. I mean, I still think he should be in the All-Star game, but I mean, if you want to give the start to someone who's actually been playing, though,
now we have one of the biggest differences in the league. Alec Boehm at 70% to Manny Machado's 30%.
I mean, no brainer, no
Didn't
brainer.
this man say he hated Philly?
He said he hates it here. I mean, the fans wanted him gone. The fans wanted him traded. Now he can do no wrong. I don't ask me about Phillies fan. I'm a Phillies fan, but
Nick
I'm not a Phillies
Castellanos
fan.
used to not be able to do any wrong, and now he's the most hated man in Philadelphia.
And I think he had like a 4-hit game. He had like 3 hits the other day with 3 RBIs, and people still want him traded. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know
When
who.
do when do they turn on Harper and when do they turn on Bryson Stott?
I don't know. You would think they would have turned on Stott by now because Stott's been kind of up and down and not very good, but he's can't do no wrong. And you have Castellanos who's bringing it back. He's gonna have a good second, half the season, and probably finish at least batting over 250, and probably end up with like somewhere between 20 and 30 home runs. And they're gonna want him traded and gone, which is wild because that's a solid performance.
Philly fans are weird.
They
They
are,
like
and it's
the
like I'm a
Eagles.
Phillies fan. It's like I'm a Phillies fan, but I'm not a Phillies fan at the same time.
I mean, they
I'm not one of
greasing the
the.
light poles, throwing batteries at Santa, doing whatever with horse whatevers.
I don't.
It's
I
a
don't
very
endorse
interesting
those
town.
ones. They're not. I don't claim those as fans.
Now the catcher is Contreras from the Brewers, 60% to Real Muto at 40%. Real Muto's hurt, isn't he? Isn't he
He is
recovering from
hurt.
surgery?
He's hurt, and he's probably not going to play. And I mean, if he was playing, I think it would be closer and stuff. But because he's not, and this is so it's a no brainer. I mean, he's going to get he just can't play.
Now, in the biggest surprise and the biggest show of Philly fans' lack of baseball knowledge, designated hitter Shohei Ohtani at 61% to Kyle Schwarber's 39%. In
I
what world does Kyle Schwarber deserve to leapfrog Marcelo Zuna?
I was looking. I was looking at my phone, looking at it, and I'm like, how did Kyle Schwarber make it in? Because I think he was like down by a bit, and somehow he snuck in. And
Let's
I
see.
mean,
This time last week, he was down 60,000 votes.
yeah, but I mean, he's good. He's a good hitter. I mean, you can't pay like. I mean, he hits home runs. I mean, he's a 40 home run guy, but it's like he wasn't like. I mean, he was hitting a little better this season, but it's like I don't know how he jumped. Well, I
I don't
have
know.
no idea how he jumped those. I have no idea. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy about it, but I just have no idea how it happened. And he's
Yeah,
hurt now too. So
he had that torrid June like he always has, and
he's actually hitting better this year too. Like his that he's not hanging around just he's not hanging at 200 by his string
right.
anymore. Like he's batting well above 200 now.
That's good
So it's better, but you know, I'm surprised he never bats like higher because he has such a nice swing. You
because he's
think he
focusing on those home runs.
I think it's that home
Like, you
run
think he'll
or
hit 40 home runs this year?
it's hard to say because he got hurt. I don't know
You
how long
think
that's
Judge
gonna.
will have 40 home runs before July's over?
What's he at now?
31.
Yeah, probably.
31
I wouldn't
home
even.
runs, 84 RBIs.
Hmm?
84 RBIs, I think he's got.
There's a lot.
He's hitting 316.
That's crazy. Did you know Bohm's like right up there, like third, fourth, in like RBIs, and he has like half the home runs that Judge has, and he has so many RBIs. That's crazy.
It
So
really is.
that he has so many RBIs, and he has like maybe like 10 home runs, Bohm, and he has like almost 70 RBIs.
That is crazy.
That I so
Let's go the outfield, though. You got Christian Yelich leading the pack at 21%.
yep,
Dirksen Profar at 20.
yep.
Fernando Tatis Jr. at 16. Brandon Marsh at 15. Should he be an all-star?
I don't know.
You got Hernandez at 14% and Castellanos at 14%. So they still might like him enough in Philadelphia to get him an all-star nod.
I think Castellanos. I like the Castellanos a little bit more than Marsh, in my
But
opinion.
should either of them, the three should be Yelich, Profar, and Tatis, correct?
Yes, I mean no question about it. Like
Good.
Marsh
Good.
and Castellanos aren't better than them.
And then I'd probably put Teoscar Hernandez above Marsh and
I
Castellanos
would,
too.
I would too. I agree. I consider and argue and try to make an argument about it, but it's like you can't, or
Yeah.
it's hard to come up with one.
But now I am going to give the floor to you. I'm going to shut up, stop talking. The floor is yours. John's fighting Phil's Bonanza. You're going to talk about the Phillies, and I want to just sit in here.
You can hear I, well, I go on and I complain to my dad all the time about them because it's like I complain about them all the time, and it's like I don't know what it is this year, but Rob Thompson just seems to be managing the Phillies way differently than he's managed like in the past. Like it seems like he's so obsessed with getting these bench players playing time at the cost of benching, like just screwing the line. Like they have so many different lineups, and it's like a benching like your players that you want to be stars. Like you're benching Bryson Stott to play Whit Merrifield or Sosa. Now, granted, Sosa's having a really good year this year. He's hitting. He's a utility player. He's a bench player, and it's like, and you're having to split time with Stott, who I believe was a first round pick, had a good year last year and can be a future star player, and I think he can be a Gold Glover this year too. And I think got snubbed last from Gold Glove. And you're splitting time with Sosa, and getting playtime for Merrifield, and you're taking and you're DHing Trey Turner to get them in, and you're putting Schwarber in the outfield where he just got hurt, a groin injury, and it's like that could have been avoided. Like, why is Schwarber even playing in left field when you have Dahl and Pache? Like, it just makes no sense to me. And I just don't get it. Like, they're just like I said, they're obsessed with getting all these bench players playing time over their starters, and they're constantly messing their lineup, and then they're losing games with these lineups in, and it's just like, just play your best players. Like, I don't know why he's obsessed with mixing lineups up and changing this and changing that, and it's like, and then the fact that you take Turnbull out of a starting role, put him into the bullpen in a role he's not usually there for. I mean, and to put Taiwan Walker in for that for him to have a 5, like ERA over 5, instead of Turnbull, who had an ERA under 2. And then you put Turnbull back in as starting pitcher, and he immediately gets hurt because you're moving him back and forth from different roles. And then you get Schwarber hurt because you have him playing in the outfield, and it's just like, I don't know if this is coming down from like the top, like upper management or something, like the front office, to like get these guys playing time, or mix it up more, because he didn't do this last season. I mean, in fact, in the playoffs last season, he kept the whole lineup throughout the playoffs, even when they were struggling in the Diamondbacks and losing. He didn't even switch the lineup. Not even the last game, he refused to switch the lineup. Refused to switch the lineup, and now this year it's just like they're getting. He wants to get everyone play time, and I just don't understand it. I mean, I think he's a good manager, and he showed to be a good manager in the past, but it just seems like, I don't know if it's like an overreaction, like an overcorrection from last year, or if it's something coming down or his philosophy change. But it just seems like I just stick with the lineup, play your best players. We don't need to get everyone playing time. You can give them a rest every couple of days, but you don't need to platoon everybody and get people playing. And put Schwarber in the outfield. So I mean, and it's like, I mean, they still I think have, like, they're still, I mean, leading the Braves first in the NL East, and they're still, I think, they're either first and second in all of MLB. I don't know, because the Yankees have been struggling a little bit too. So I think, and the Orioles have. So I think they're all pretty close.
Yeah, Guardians as well in that
Yeah,
little mix.
but they're all pretty close. But I think it's like either the Phillies or the Yankees are leading in all of MLB. And
Yankees aren't even in first place, John. Come on.
no, not anymore.
They're half game out.
Orioles.
Half game out.
Yeah, but it's like, I think the
Happens.
Phillies are still. But it's like, so it's like complaining. But it's just like, if this keeps up, I don't know if the Phillies can hold on to it. I mean, now you're missing Harper for at least a week or two. You're missing Schwarber for at least a week or two, I think. I mean, JT Realmuto's out 6 to 8 weeks still. I don't, but I think that, that's like, and and then you lost Turnbull. He's out. I mean, like, injuries starting to pile up, and that Schwarber injury could have been avoided very easily.
Yeah, it could have, but I don't know. Robbie Thompson, former Yankee coach, I think he's done a good job taking over for when Joe Girardi was fired.
Oh, that's like I was saying, he did a fantastic job, but it's like now he just seems like he changed up his
Trying to get something to
style.
work. The Phillies, aren't able to get on that big streak and put a lot of distance in the division and in the major league record, but they're still a good team. But let's go on to our weekly series highlight here. You got your tirade over.
I
For
did.
me, I want to look at Baltimore at Seattle. O's leading the Yankees, playing another really good team with possibly the best pitching staff in all of baseball. Guys, just throwing. I think they have the lowest pitching ERA in the sport. Seattle, if not one of the lowest. But they also have like one of the low. They have the like lowest team batting average, below like the White Sox. So it's just an interesting combo. I'm curious to see how the Orioles pitching staff handles them, because the staff has struggled for Baltimore. Meanwhile, Seattle staff has been very good. And then Baltimore's hitting has been great. Meanwhile, Seattle's hasn't. They're kind of like inverses of each other, with one team really, really good and the other team struggling, but still a very good team leading their division. What about you? What's your weekly series highlight?
Mike Weekly series highlight is going to be some AL West action. Probably some of the two of the worst, probably two of the worst teams in that division is going to be Angels Athletics. So
Interesting.
I just think I just feel like it's sometimes I feel like those are some of the better games. 'Cause I feel like Angels Athletics have similar like they're similar in I don't know how you want to say, like they're similar in their talent.
Yeah,
They
both
how
not
good
very
the team
good.
plays, like, and stuff, but the Athletics have been playing, I think, way above expectations for everyone. I feel like they've exceeded all expectations this season.
Yes, I can
I
see that for
mean,
sure.
and
Everybody
it
thought they were gonna be just really, really, really bad.
I mean, you thought they were gonna be basically what the White Sox are,
Yes, absolutely true.
and they're not, and they're putting up quite a bit of fight, and they're hitting the ball, and the Angels are still the Angels. I
Who wins
mean,
this series? Who
who I I'm gonna have the Athletics.
Athletics take
I
2
think
out of
the
3 is my
Athletics are
guess.
gonna take 2 out of 3. I'm gonna say the Athletics.
I like it.
I'm gonna
But
say it.
that's gonna do it for us here. John, Pauline, Corey, Jason. This has been the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. John, you enjoy your 4th of July. 4th of
I don't know
July
if I
is
have
it
anything
should
planned.
be
I'll
it
have
should
to
be a
get
day where
fireworks.
every baseball team plays, but sadly that's not always the case. Especially when it comes on a Thursday or a Monday when teams get off. But one of my favorite 4th of July baseball memories, my first game ever was Yankees Orioles, July 4th, 2005. And Brian Roberts broke his leg, Orioles second baseman. And that virtually ended what could have been like a great career because he was just never able to bounce back. Then, other than that, another memory would be in 2022, I went with my family, my dad, my brother, and everybody to Pittsburgh to see Aaron Judge and the Yankees. And they were off on the 4th of July, which is stupid. And we went to the game on the 5th. So we were walking around Pittsburgh, never been there before on the 4th. And my brother's girlfriend says, "Hey, guys, look at that dog." We're inside like an ice cream shop. She looks outside the window and says, "Hey, look at that dog. It's so cute." And my brother goes, "Dog? That's Aaron Judge walking the dog." So Aaron Judge and his wife are walking down the street in Pittsburgh, walking their little dog, Gus. So we all go outside. My one sister, who's in love with Judge, just was starstruck. We took pictures with him. He was very nice. My dad had told him that he better stay a Yankee. Good to know that Judge listens to my dad because Judge signed a free agent deal with them. And that was just a really cool day. And that was the 4th of July 2 years ago.
I don't have any cool stories like that or
No,
memories of it.
nothing.
No,
No 4th of July
nothing.
baseball memories. Watching a
Nothing.
game.
Nothing. I think nothing. I'm trying to think. I had nothing that comes to
There's
mind.
no, I mean, it's the Phillies. Where was the Declaration of Independence signed?
Philadelphia.
So, like, there's got to be some Phillies 4th of July memory for
I
you.
I can't think of any. I can't.
Was it the Phillies have who is it on the 4th of July? The Cubs?
Cubs? I think yeah, they put the Cubs, yeah. I think so.
Oh, maybe they'll have a nice Zach Wheeler, no hitter on the 4th
I'll
this
have
year.
to watch this year so I have something to say for next year.
That'll be good. But that's going to do it here for us. Outsidersports.net. You can catch out our rankings. Football season's going to be starting up soon. A lot of good stuff with that. Ryan does a really good job.
Colts
YouTube, just
Report
search us
Weekly.
up, Outsider Sports. You'll know where to find us, but you're already listening, and you can find a way to watch us too. But that's going to do it. John, Pauline, Corey, Jason, signing off.